are no Jedi.
After a long time, Disney did something strange. They picked up a character who is very important but was not in any of the main episodes of the Star Wars series and made a special series for him. Hello everyone, I'm Jason, and this is the Screen Time channel. Today I want to introduce you to the Ahsoka series, a new production of Lucasfilm that was made by Disney's order without spoiling it. So stay with me. The Ahsoka series, as its name suggests, is about a character named Ahsoka Tano. If you are a fan of the Star Wars world and are very familiar with this world, you will definitely know this character. This character was introduced to us for the first time in the Star Wars, the Clone Wars animation, which is an animation consisting of 7 seasons. But people who are not very in love with and crazy about the Star Wars world probably do not know this character, and this is the biggest flaw of this series. As you start watching this series and do not understand anything, you do not understand who they are and what they do, or even where we are in the timeline of the Star Wars world. Well, if you are confused too, do not worry. I will introduce you to the Ahsoka series without spoiling it in this video. And if you have not started watching this work yet, do not worry. This video is for you too. Well, I said that people who are not crazy about this world may not understand anything from the series. Why? Because if you have not seen the Star Wars, the Clone Wars animation, and the Star Wars Rebels animation, you will not understand anything at all. And this is a very big problem. This series is so dependent on the Star Wars Rebels animation that some people mockingly say that this series is Season 5 of Star Wars Rebels. And this has caused that if you have not seen these two animations, you will not understand and comprehend many of the characters, and this series starts the story as if they made this series for people who saw those two animations. That's why I'm going to tell you about the movies and series that you should watch before watching the Ahsoka series. If you know Ahsoka's character and have seen his works, you can skip this part of the video timeline. Before you start watching the Ahsoka series, you should have seen at least 2 or 3 of the first 9 original films, and then watch the Star Wars, the Clone Wars animation, and then watch the Star Wars Rebels animation. And then maybe next year you can watch the Ahsoka series. I'm kidding. If you do not want to watch these animations, you can watch a few episodes of Star Wars, the Clone Wars to get to know Ahsoka's character, and watch 2 or 3 of the first trilogy, and then watch a few episodes of Star Wars Rebels. Although you may not be very familiar with the details of the characters, but you can understand the generalities. Well, I said that Ahsoka's high dependence on Star Wars Rebels has caused many audiences to not be able to understand the characters. But I have to say that this high dependence also has a good thing, and that is that people who have seen Star Wars Rebels can understand well the characters inside Ahsoka's series and understand them as if Disney made this series for people who saw Star Wars Rebels animation. Well, I think I know why Disney did such a thing. I think Disney tried to repeat this success after the success of Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and for this reason decided to make a mini-series with a focus on a character from the Star Wars world, and well, this time it was Ahsoka Tano's turn. Of course, I think choosing this character was not very accidental and considering the trend. One of the changes that Disney has made is making series and movies and animations that are focused on female protagonists. What do you think about these changes? I do not think audiences are very happy with these changes, because if they were Disney, stock would not fall like this. Of course, Disney's stock fall is not due to changing male protagonists to female protagonists. Maybe it is because of other changes that we see in all his works. If you want me to talk more about this topic, you can tell me and I will make a video and tell you why Disney is being destroyed. In your opinion, considering the flaws I mentioned, can this series surpass the Obi-Wan Kenobi series? Well, now let's get to the rest of the review. The first thing you will love when watching the series is the background music. The songs are really well done and give a very good feeling to the audience. The story of Ahsoka's series tells after Episode 6 of Star Wars, when the Empire is gone and a tired and fragile peace prevails over the galaxy, and as always, some crazy people want to destroy this peace. And, well, if I want to explain more, I have to spoil you, which I will not do. The important point about this series is its director. The director of this work is Mr. Dave Filoni, who has made a lot of works in the Star Wars world, such as Mandalorian and Star Wars Rebels and Clone Wars, and well, because of his good knowledge of the Star Wars world and also Ahsoka's character, we expect a very good direction from him. This series, unlike Mandalorian series, which is narrated in a separate world from the original Star Wars films, Ahsoka's series reminds us a lot of the original Star Wars episodes, and we feel like we are watching the continuation of the original episodes, which again was because Disney wanted to make a series similar to Obi-Wan Kenobi. And well, we have to see how Ahsoka's series goes. The next point about this series is its visual effects. As you know, Star Wars movies are heavily dependent on visual effects. So doing visual effects right in movies and series related to Star Wars is very important. And while I have to say that this series has tried to implement visual effects very well, but in some places these effects drop but still in most parts the effects are good, which shows that the creators of the work spent time on it. A weakness that is noticeable in the series is the slow progress of the story and the ambiguity of the good characters. That is, the more we learn more about the negative characters, what their goal is and what they intend to do. On the other hand, the positive characters and heroes of the stories are vague and ambiguous for us, and this may cause fatigue for the audience with long episodes of the series, and I hope that this problem will be solved in later episodes. The thing that has occupied the minds of many viewers of the series is the strange and special color of Ahsoka's lightsaber. Some people think that Ahsoka's lightsaber color is blue, and in this series the director wanted to bring it to this color, but it is not. Ahsoka's lightsaber color is white, something we also saw in Clone Wars animation, but why? Well, this goes back to the relationship between lightsaber color and its owner, which is one of the important points in Star Wars world, but we will not talk about it in this video. We will discuss this issue in another video. If you want me to make another video about the relationship between lightsabers and their owners' characters, be sure to tell me. I'm Jason and this is Screen Time Channel. I publish weekly videos about movie and series reviews. If you like it, I would be happy if you join our small family. Well, let's move on from Ahsoka's character and soar to his fights. From this character until this point of the series, but even these small fights that we saw were not great. I have to say that I expected better and more exciting fights from this character, especially with his background. And well, if you know his background, you know who his master was, and well, expecting great expectations from this character for us seems quite logical to me. In the series, an attempt has been made to portray Ahsoka's long history, which has caused slow progress of story and confusion for audiences, especially those who see this character for first time. Exactly the same things that I said at the beginning of the video. And well, Ahsoka series needs prior knowledge of the audience due to the quick passing of some concepts. Well, let's move on from this issue. Again, in my opinion, the biggest problem is the lack of background for Ahsoka. If you have seen the animations that I mentioned so far, and well, you know Ahsoka's character, be sure to watch this series. But if you do not have those prerequisites that I mentioned, I think wait. I will make another video about everything you need to know about Ahsoka's character before watching Ahsoka's series. And you can start watching Ahsoka series after watching that video. Finally, I have to say that Ahsoka series came out very well with all its big weaknesses, and this series got a score of 8 from the audience on IMDb, which I think is great. I do not give any score to this series until now, and I wait until the series is over, but in general, I think if it did not have these weaknesses, it would become one of the best series of the year. Also, the actors of this series were good and had an acceptable performance. If you have seen this series so far, tell me your opinion about it. Do you think this series can win this year's Oscar? What was your opinion about my criticism? If you liked it, be sure to tell me, and if you saw any flaws in my work, I would be happy to tell me, and I am Jason. And this is Screen Time Channel. You can follow us on other social networks and tell us what our next videos should be about and how